So you like jazz? Let me put this in.
No phone.
I don't need no phone.
You excited? Are you nervous?
I'm nervous.
Are you actually nervous?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I think the camera's slightly turned.
It is, but it's fine. I can never get it perfect. You want to try and get it perfect? Obviously, since this is a mental health podcast, there are some disclaimers I have to go through. First of all, I am not a medical professional. I am just a girl with a passion and years of experience and a psych degree. So please take what you want, leave the rest, and speak with a medical professional if you do need medical advice. Also, this is a very real podcast. It will be uncensored. I will try and bleep out some cuss words, but I cannot guarantee that all will be. With that, if you have any little ears around, please be cognizant. And also, I will be speaking on some pretty sensitive topics. So please listen only when and if it feels right for you. Finally, I do have the mental health hotline. If you need to speak with anyone, they are around 24/7, and their number is 844-685-7030. I used to work for them. They're super helpful. Please give them a call. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Be Well. I brought in a stray today. I think I'm going to
Stray?
keep him. Yeah, this is my temporary boyfriend, Austin.
Dang, I'm getting hit. Temporary.
Yeah, I might keep him as my fiance one day. We'll rename him.
I
We'll
hope I'm
see.
not your fiance for a super long time. Just saying.
Oh, well,
I
yeah,
see. That was sweet.
that was sweet. Oh, that worked. I decided to have Austin on just because I feel like you have played a huge part in my recovery, if not the largest, aside from my parents, of course. I don't know, the people see you a lot on my Instagram already, and I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about your experiences going through this with me because I know it hasn't been easy on you either. I always have fun with you, so I hope this will be a fun episode, and I hope everyone else enjoys it and gets to take something away from it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of your journey too. It's been a journey for myself, a lot of learning moments. So I think even after all this, I've become a better person myself. So.
Yeah. Well, he's been a great person from the start. Not to put you on the spot, but do you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Oh, about myself. Well, yeah, you see,
You actually came to a job interview today.
yeah. How do you tie your shoes? Right? Job interview question. Anyways,
Yeah, we talked about that one.
we
I
have
didn't like
we
the
have
job
talked
interview
about it. It's
question.
not good, not great. Myself, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty average fella. I like a lot of outdoor activities. I enjoy boating, which is like my new, I would say, new obsession. Next week it'll be a different obsession. It's how I live my life, one obsession at a time. But you're always my obsession, so it's fine. Yeah, you see, got to throw that in there every once in a while. And you're good, fellas. Just keep going. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a design manager for work, so I'm really focused on architectural design. Really enjoy that day in day out. I live that stuff. So
He kind of balances me out because, as you guys know, I'm a psych and English major. I have my math person right here, and that way I don't have to worry about it, which is great. Austin, you've seen the show, I'm assuming. I hope.
not once. Yeah,
Maybe like once or twice.
yeah. Actually, yeah. I saw the first episode and I never watched it again.
Oh, thanks. My biggest supporter. We do a little something here on Be Well called Lemons and Mangoes. We just talk about the good things going on in our week and the bad things. I'm going to go ahead and spitfire mine so you can have a moment to think about yours. And then we'll go from there if you have any questions on mine. We're going to try and keep this episode under an hour. We'll see with how much we like to talk with each other. My mango for the week, I don't even know if you know this. I recently put aside the crossword puzzles and broke out the Sudoku books. And I've been doing the hard ones by myself. And normally I've only ever been able to do the hard ones with him. That's one of my mangoes. I'm pretty proud of that. Only took me like 5 tries, but and a
I
lot of
did not know
whiteout.
that. I didn't know that at all. I thought we were still on the crossword kicks.
I get obsessed with different activity books from week to week. So, yeah. My lemon, you know this also. We talked a little bit about this earlier. I just been going through some like skin irritation, and he wants me to see a dermatologist about it. I'm that type of person where I'm like, Chat GBT can fix everything for me.
which isn't a good thing. I don't necessarily think you should model that behavior, but I've just had bumps on my arms and my legs. I'm going to try some different skincare treatments to hopefully get rid of that, but I normally have pretty clear skin. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but it drives me crazy. We're on the couch watching Love is Blind and he sees me picking at my arms and he's like hitting my hands, like, do not do that. So that's my lemon. I hate having any skin issues.
I feel like they're rare, which is why I think it bothers you so much.
It is. It's so rare. And I feel like it's mainly in the winter because my skin isn't used to like the dry weather.
Yeah. And the amount of times I've heard ChatGPT has spoken in my text messages is rather alarming.
I know. I always say that to people too. I'm like, don't get medical advice from ChatGPT, and then
Here
I
you
don't
are.
follow my own
Now,
advice.
everybody does it. Let's be honest. I've also gone to ChatGPT and been like, am I dying? And it says yes. And I'm like, cool. Mangoes and lemons. I like this. I don't think I've ever heard the mangoes and lemons side of this until the first pod. I think you did on the first one, or was it the second one?
I think it was the second or the third one.
Anyways, I've heard what some highs and lows, I think, is what I grew up doing. Anyways, lemon this week. Last week, I bought a new boat. I feel like it's such a lame lemon, but I'm going to go with it. I bought a new boat, new to me boat. It's an old boat. And I knew I had some issues. I fixed one of those issues over the past week. Took it out yesterday. Should I say yesterday?
Yesterday, Saturday.
You can cut that. Anyways, so I took it out on Saturday and I went to go start it in the water. It started this time last weekend. It did not start this weekend. Started and then it died. It's a good thing. All the stuff I fixed worked. All the stuff I didn't fix continues to not work. That is a boat.
It's a boat.
Bust out at 1,000. In case you don't know, that's what boat stands for in the blue car life. Mango. Mango side of things.
You bought a boat.
I'll reiterate in a second. Let me think.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me think.
I was thinking the mango is you bought a boat.
The same mango and lemon.
No, you can't. You're right.
That's lame. Yeah. No, this is good.
You don't have anything good going on in your
I
life?
have a lot of stuff going good. That's the problem.
We're on our almost last episode of Love is Blind. We're almost caught up. That's another mango.
I'll give that to you. All right. My mango. Love is Blind has been more entertaining this season than the last, I think, 6 combined. I don't have much hope for many of the couples, but entertaining it has been. So that is a good mango. That's a really good way that we relax, which I think we'll explain later, but it's a really nice end to the night.
And I love that you love all my shows. Austin lives for the drama, to be honest, which is funny because in our everyday life, we're not really drama heavy people, I would say, or at least I don't think we are. But when it comes to reality shows, we love a good drama.
Except for in the pods. I don't know if you guys watch Love is Blind, but I cannot watch the pods that much.
Yeah, he doesn't like the pods. And see, I'm a psych major, so for me, I'm like psychoanalyzing everything. But
I can't stand it. I get so bored the whole time. I don't know. I feel like it's,
I think you need a different like setting. You need a different environment, seeing the people talk and interact.
Maybe that's what it is. There's no drama much in the pods.
Yeah, I think that might be it too. There's not a lot of drama.
They're just learning about each other, which is respectful. There shouldn't be drama in the pods, but for me, it's we have a typical rule where we don't really like to have phones out while we're watching TV. In that occasion, I usually have my phone out.
Because you want to know everything.
Or I'm looking at Marketplace. I have half the attention to the pods. She loves the pods though, so it's that's our compromise.
That's true. Well, we could do a whole episode on Love is Blind. We are going to move on from that. All right, so let's get into a little bit of our story. Do you want to tell the people how we met, or do you want me to start off on that?
I could start, and you can take over where I missed some gaps.
I think that sounds great.
All right, December 11th, 2023, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
That's it.
Because I read the Facebook post you made today. I met
that's
Alex
nice.
on December 2023.
That was a nice Facebook post.
Mhm.
I should do another one like that. So we met, actually was there for orientation. We work at the same place, in case you don't know. I think you guys all know that. Work at the same place. I walked in my first day, sat down on the reception of the 6th floor of our building in Houston. And she and another one of her coworkers walked out of the elevator. And I was like, oh no, in a great way. But oh no, this is bad. This is not good. I'm in Houston. I think that she also works in Houston because I'm there just for my orientation and the first week. I was in an RFM position, so they try to bring those upper level managers in, see how Houston runs things, understand the business model. So I was there, and I saw her, and I was smitten, I would say, in all great ways. And I just thought that she was also working in Houston, full-time living, and I just shut it out. I was like, yeah, this is not good. We're going to move on. Then before that, I actually didn't even know you were HR when you walked through the elevator. I assumed this was all an assumption.
Because I'm cool HR.
Yeah, well, I figured somebody was walking in because I think you were late, actually, or I was early. So we, everybody walked in, like the rest of the people for orientation that day. I think there was like 8 or 9 of us walked in. And then we hit it off. We realized each other worked at the same location in Florida, which was a very small world. There was, I think, only 3 offices at the time in the Southeast. So just the odds of that are crazy. And then that was definitely how we met. From there on, we had a few dates. I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but
It's up to you. I feel like I'm kind of an open book on our relationship.
yeah. So I was crushing for a while. I trying to be lighthearted. Of course, realizing she's HR. This is uncharted territory for me. I try to be like the goody two shoes at work. Not that I was being bad or
No, same. I totally get what you're saying. Even if you don't mind me cutting in, even for me, from an HR perspective, I tried very hard not to go on dates with you and avoid any sort of relationship here. I always said that I would never date anyone in a workplace, not even being HR, just in general, because you never want to shit where you eat, for lack of a better phrase. I just didn't want things to be awkward if I were to potentially break up with that person and then you're both working in the same office. But it's hard because I personally could tell that Austin had such a good character to him and all of his values really aligned with mine. And the dating world is so hard nowadays. I had been doing the dating apps and going on dates and not really having any luck. So I decided to just take a leap. I even talked with my manager beforehand and I let her know that I was crushing on this guy and that I was thinking about pursuing things just to get her take. Basically, they just said, your HR, keep it professional, which I think we do a very good job at work, keeping it professional. I'm not just saying that because we're on camera. I really think that during the workday, we kind of do our own thing. And I mean, we don't even really like drive to work or anything because our schedules are so different. But yeah, I just couldn't avoid you long term. I'm glad we didn't because I think we've done a really good job at separating professional life from personal life.
there's been times for me where it's hard for me to separate that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we have upper leadership. I've had upper leadership approach me and ask me if we're still dating because they just don't see us together much, which is fine. I think we're both good with that. We have our own personal life that doesn't be at work. We also have good role models at work for that too.
we do. Yeah, a lot of people in our company are either dating or married. And same thing with their relationships. They keep it very professional at work, but it's really fun to see them at the functions outside of work or at the holiday party, which we've mentioned before. Our company does a huge holiday party in Houston every year. And everyone from our company goes out and dresses up to the nines. And it's this huge gala event. Wow. Do people let loose during that event? It's a lot of fun to see.
the other side.
You see-
everybody, for sure.
Whew.
The ones that makes the good stories.
But anyways, I think both of us just couldn't stay away for that long, and I'll let you pick back up.
Agreed. Yeah. Fast forward a few months. There's flirting. Kind of some like she thought I was married. I don't know how. Whatever. She thought I was married. So I guess I was married and divorced already.
You were just I told my mom this. He was just so put together, and a lot of guys are not nowadays, that I just figured if you're that put together, you have to either be in a long-term committed relationship already or you have to have a wife. I just thought Austin had a wife, and I was very sad and then happy to find out that he did not have a wife.
Fake it till you make it. It's a facade.
Yeah. Then things ended up being hard on me because I had a series of events unravel where I had to seek help for an eating disorder and go into a facility for it. Austin and I had our first official date literally the night before I was going into that facility. I had no choice to tell him where I was going because, one, I wanted him to know the reality of what he was getting into if we were going to keep dating because I knew this was going to be a long journey. I'm a firm believer that I don't ever want to start off a relationship on, I wouldn't say a dishonest foot, but I don't also want to be misleading. I wanted him to know what's going on so that we could start off with honesty and have him realize that I'm okay if he doesn't want to go on this journey with me, but this is something that I'm going through. I was very open and honest with him about that. And I was heavily surprised to hear from you that you wanted to keep talking with me and seeing me.
Yeah, so I don't think I knew a whole bunch of detail, but I knew enough to be dangerous. So, she was obviously reluctant to say much. We were really fresh during that date, that first official. Wow, let's go back. Whew. During that first official date, we actually talked about relationships, and the vibe I got from her was, well, I'm really enjoying my single life. But I think a lot of that was because she was afraid to step into this new thing, knowing that she had so much going on, which is completely fair. I think that was a big part of that. But in my eyes, we're having this romantic date. I think we went to Park Ave. We went to the wine room. We, talked with each other. And then we sat on like the grass in Park Avenue area and just talked on a blanket. It was really romantic. So I think I'm doing great. I'm like, oh, I'm killing it right now. Like I got this in the bag. And she's like, I'm really enjoying my single life. I'm like, should I take you home? No, it wasn't like that. I think honestly, 30 minutes later, she's like, well, it's getting pretty late. So now I thought I messed up. She's not in it, which is fine. I'll get over it. Like she said, the dating life is pretty hard these days. Lo and behold, it was just because there's a lot of other stuff on her mind. She was leaving the next morning, which I didn't know at that point until later on the night. She finally said hey, I'm actually going out. I'll be pretty much unreachable for an extended period of time. I don't know how long it'll be. It could be 10 days or it could be 6 months, I think you said at the time. It was completely unknown. So I just said, okay, no problem. And then awkward hugged across the car goodbye.
And then I thought I did something wrong. I was just getting cold feet because with everything going on, I was going to the facility. I had had a kind of hard relationship before Austin, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to get into another one. There was just a lot of stuff going through my head. So I had such a nice time that I think I scared my own self, and I started self-sabotaging a little bit. Ooh, maybe I'm not ready for this because I don't want to be even more broken with everything else going on. I don't think I could take one more blow if things were to go south. Maybe in my head, I was like, should I have even gone on this date in the first place? It had nothing to do with Austin. It was actually because he was so great that I was so scared. Yeah. But we had our little awkward hug, and I was like, I think I ruined this. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, so then I did the classic wait trick, I messaged her. She didn't respond because she ended up going in the shower when she got home. So I ended up parking and just waiting for her to respond, just in the slight chance that she might have been like, yeah, let's redo that. Because I had asked her, can we redo the hug? I just wanted a hug. Because we knew I wasn't going to see her for an extended period of time. I was like, I'll go a step further and show my cards. Well, she texted me 20 minutes later when she got out of the shower, and she's like, oh, well, I don't know if you're still around, but yeah, we can redo it. And I was like, good for you. I'm just around the corner, so I'll come back.
And meanwhile, I'm silent screaming in my room out of excitement.
Yeah. And you're at your parents' house.
I was at my parents' house.
So she ended up coming out, and she was like, I don't think I've ever snuck out to hug somebody in front of my parents. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's probably pretty interesting. You just went outside, and your parents knew you're on a first date, and now you're sneaking out to say something else to me. Yeah, probably a little weird. Who cares? So yeah, that was our first official date. And then from then on, we went pretty much long distance. I mean, pretty much.
He ended up kissing me. You left that part out.
Trying to keep it PG.
I don't keep it PG-13, baby. 13. He was a good kisser, and I was like,
G13 tongue.
Then after that, I kind of sealed the deal for us. And so when did I tell you? I'm trying to keep track of my own timeline now. When did I tell you that I was in the eating disorder facility? It couldn't have been long after, because we were FaceTiming every night while I was in the facility.
Yeah, so I actually didn't know where you went at that point. I knew you were going away, and it was for something health related. At that point, that's all I knew, which is fine. We don't really know each other, and we've really only been on one date. How much are you going to share with somebody, especially something so personal that could potentially, some people might not want that, drive somebody away. So it makes sense. It was actually, I texted your mom thinking it was your cell phone, and I thought you still had your cell phone. So that's obviously some details so I had texted, in our workplace, our team's profiles have our work number and our cell number. So I took that cell number, and I just, again, I did another show my cards. So I texted a message to that number. Well, it was actually her mom's number. And I don't know if they've ever fixed that, actually.
I hope they have. I've put in so many requests to have that fixed. What happened was in our system, they pulled it from my emergency contact field. So it ended up being my mom's number, not my number. For the first like couple months I was at work, my mom was getting all of these calls from my managers and she just wasn't answering. And then she'd text me like, hey, so-and-so called, give them a call back. So she was like my secretary for a while. And then I thought I got it changed, but now I'm scared and I'm going to have to go investigate that again. Anyways, that's how we got my mom's number.
Yeah, so I got her mom's number, which is not something I was trying to do. Needless to say, I sent like it wasn't like super raunchy or anything, but like a very romantic, like, hey, I really enjoyed our time. I don't remember the exact words, but it was put myself out there. And then I found out later on that that was not her number. I don't remember how I figured that out, actually.
Did my mom not answer you?
She did not answer that time. I have to go back on my messages, but she didn't answer that initial thing. And I think it was a few days. Maybe she did answer it and she was like, hey, just so you know, this is actually Miss Sublette, et cetera, et cetera. So from that point on, I got the right number. I don't remember where I was going with this, actually.
I had asked you when you
Oh,
found
the
out
timeline.
that, yeah, when you found out that I was in an eating disorder facility. When did I tell you this?
Yeah, I think it was actually, I talked with your mom a few more times and I had messaged her and said, hey, can I send her flowers or something? And then I think at that point, she had given me your number or she asked you if she could give it to me, something like that. I ended up getting her number. And from that point, she opened up. I think it was like one of the first nights we talked. You were like, hey, so I'm actually at a facility to gain weight. I'm, very low weight right now. I don't know how much I can say about like low weight, that purple stuff.
No, low weight is fine. Purple is a code word that we use in the facility for things that are off limits. In the eating disorder community, basically just no numbers. So you can't
Okay.
say my BMI or how much I actually weighed, but I was at a critically low.
Critical low
Point.
weight. Yeah, I think that's good. Understood. So she was there. So she would just kind of open up a little bit. I didn't get a bunch of detail. And then from then on, we just sort of talked every night. A little bit more information was passed through, which I think was really beneficial. We got the chance to like, almost like Love is Blind, but we saw each other first.
Why is like love is
I think that's another reason that show is very intriguing. I think it might be subconscious, but we really had that for 25 days where we just talked almost every night. I think there was 1 or 2 nights in there where Miss Coldfeet over here decided that it wasn't for her. But anyways, you probably don't remember that actually.
No, I have a terrible memory, y'all. I really do. It's awful.
Yeah, that could be a story from another time, I guess.
Sure. We're trying to keep this under
Yeah,
an hour.
this is gonna end up being 2 hours if we keep going like this. You were right. You were totally right.
I was totally right. We can just start yapping all day.
Yeah. So that was early on in our relationship, and then you got out. We went on another coffee date. I say another. Our first coffee date was actually with a coworker because I think we were both unsure about if it was a date or not.
My coworker asked to come, and I was like, "Sure, you want to drive me?" I just show up, and he drops me off with him.
And then it was awkward, the three of us. I'm thinking like, I get a coffee date, and then coworker shows up, and I'm thinking, wow, again, I am reading this completely wrong. So that's cool.
I didn't know. I thought we were just doing work together, and I got to see you on the weekend, and I was excited. I was excited to see him, though.
She got back, and I was very excited. So we set up a coffee date. Mind you, at this point, I think she was still a little unsure about the whole thing, which is, again, makes sense. She's coming out of this facility thing where she had a not great experience, which I'm sure she shared with you guys in past pods, I'm pretty sure. She's trying to like navigate this. She's really worried about, how eating is going to affect her life, how she's going to work that in. Last thing on her mind is, how am I going to work this guy into my schedule? Not that I'm low on the totem pole, but at that point, let's be honest, like it's really not that important.
I had to put myself first in that moment for sure, but I was also still very interested.
Everybody should. I think everybody should put themselves first.
It's important.
Especially where you were at.
Yeah.
I don't think you really got away from your critically low weight in the facility, which was the problem.
I didn't. No, I actually ended up regressing the facility, which I have talked about before. And I can go on greater detail on that in other episodes. And when I got out of the facility and we started dating more, I think it probably took another 2 or 3 months until I got a care team under me to where we actually started seeing some progress with my weight. I think that's a good segue into some of my questions I had for you and then some other questions that we can go through.
Sure.
What was it like living with me in those initial first months? How do you feel like we navigated the eating disorder together? What advice do you have for other couples going through this?
Sure. Yeah, I think I can actually pull this into more of the story about us too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly when you moved in, but I think it was like a month after she got back, she was spending a lot of time at the house. So it just made sense. We didn't make it official, but she was like, I'm staying here, let's discuss what this looks like. At first, it was pretty hard because I didn't know how to help. I didn't know, obviously, I don't know anything about this. Like, I didn't even know what AED like really was at its core. I've seen people struggle with, personal or physical attributes and stuff like that, but especially not your version, like what you went through with ED. I think that's kind of a niche thing. And I didn't know at all how to help. Some days I still don't, to be candid. Sometimes I'm like, there's experts for this. I'm not an expert. I'm just a resource. So a lot of those occasions early on, I had to like just ask questions. Sometimes it was a wrong question. I did a lot of listening because there's just, especially at that critically low area of weights, there's buzzwords for her, especially things that she was hearing from other people that I had to like learn from other people's mistakes, where I probably would have said the same thing in the scenario sometimes. And she's like, oh, can you believe they said this? And I'm like, nope. And I can't believe that at all. How dare they? And in my head, I'm like, okay, don't say that. So that was hard to navigate. And I think it's hard for a lot of couples. And then especially living together, early on, she was told she had to eat a certain amount and it was overwhelming. I think the best thing I did in that scenario was say like, well, I'm going to do that then. And I'm going to show you. And, I ended up doing it. And I think it's beneficial for both of us. One, that, I could support her in some way and I eat all the meals with her. I think at that time you were eating like 5 meals a day.
I was.
Or was it
Yes.
6? It was 5 or 6. It was
I was
a lot.
doing 3 meals and 3 snacks.
Right.
a day.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It was like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack.
Dinner, sweet treat.
Right. Yeah. So I did all that with her for, a good amount of time, which I think helped.
It did help. I really needed someone to eat with me during that time. And that is a piece of advice I give to everyone who has an eating disorder. In the beginning, it's very hard to do it on your own. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you can find any form of meal support, there's even resources you can find online where you can have a coach sit with you for even just 20 minutes of your meal and they can help get you started. And then as you go through recovery, they can do less and less of that meal with you until you're eating on your own. But it can be anyone because in our eating disorders, we like to eat alone, or a lot of us do. We like to eat in silence, or we're kept restricting in silence. I think having a support person there to push you when you're unable to push yourself, and also just rewire your brain that it's okay to eat with other people, that you shouldn't always be eating in isolation. I think that's really important because that is something that I still struggle with. There are still days where if I'm in the middle of a meal and Austin comes in from, say, work late or something, and then he sits down to join me, and I get distracted, I do get flustered and stressed, and then I have a hard time finishing my meals still. But that's something I'm working on this year is allowing distractions and allowing Austin to just jump in the meal with me whenever he can. Because again, even if it's stressful in the moment, it's going to teach me to grow. And it's not normal for us to eat in isolation. We're meant to be around a community of people. So I think that was extremely, extremely helpful. And one thing I admire about you is even though it was scary, I admire that you went up to the challenge to tackle it anyways, because I think a lot of times what I hear from my eating disorder community is partners, they get scared to say or do the wrong thing. So they just step back and they don't do anything. And I actually think that makes it worse because it helps that person stay in the eating disorder cycle. You might be thinking to yourself, you don't want them to grow resentments towards you or anything. But at the end of the day, that's just staying silent isn't beneficial to their recovery. It might be hard in the beginning and they might grow resentments towards you. But I think it's important to understand not to take those things personally, that it's really just them battling the eating disorder and it has nothing to do with you. I hope that made a little bit of sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. It's tough. I mean, it's not something every couple goes through. It's a new experience for everybody.
Yeah, I say that all the time too. I think you have to find the right person to go through it with you. I think you're very much a caretaker and you like taking care of people.
I'm through and through a helper. That is my
Yes.
identity. I love helping.
Yes. And I think you have to find someone who's willing to help you through that.
I agree.
What was some of the hardest moments for you, like the most challenging, would you say?
Hardest moments.
Even now, because I know even now there are still things that I go through that are kind of challenging.
Yeah, you had just mentioned it, disrupting any eating events. It's still challenging sometimes. It's frustrating sometimes, like not being able to walk into a space where I want to be able to talk with her and she's already eating. And I understand we both talked about like moving forward with that and how we can change that or make it better. So that's challenging, but I think that's at the small end of stuff. Or early on, I think, or even now, like just living challenges in general. I don't know. I feel like it's all kind of autonomous now, actually. Some people might still have issues with like buzzwords. I don't think you have a whole bunch of issues with buzzwords, but I also know not to say certain things still. Like, I feel like all that stuff is autonomous.
I know the schedule is something that you struggle with a little bit, or I should say I struggle with a little bit. This was going to be a part of my lemons and mangoes, but I decided to save it till next week. My work schedule has gotten jumbled around recently, and that has been out of my control. When I feel out of control, I dig my nails into any form of routine that I can grab, which is important in early recovery to stick to some form of routine. My problem is I make it extremely rigid to the point where I'm scheduling by the minute. I know that's not healthy, but it makes me feel like I have some sort of control. Eating disorders too, they are all about control because when your life feels so hectic and out of control, you want to dig your talents into something, and that is the eating disorder. I think right now, something that Austin and I are trying to work through and navigate, it's only my second week where my routine has changed, and I'm trying to grasp onto some form of normalcy. I do worry that sometimes that cuts into like our quality time or my peace of mind and being relaxed around him, which I don't like because I want us to be able to have that relaxed quality time. I know that's something that has been hard on you.
Yeah, I'd say I'm mostly a relaxed person. Of course, I have my stressful and anxious moments.
We need to
Everybody
relax
does.
people.
But I love a good schedule. I'm not a schedule heavy person. Obviously I have my work schedule. I have my meetings throughout the day that are pretty general, pretty standard. I go through those days and I know what meetings are coming. I don't really schedule my life the same way. I think that's very different for both of us. She eats dinner at a certain time. And most of the time I don't mind, mending to that. But I think some of our stuff we've been through is like, if I want to do something, that's sometimes the time can't change because her whole day is already planned. And changing that is actually more effort than just, okay, just won't eat together. So I think that's one of the challenges there.
Yeah, so I'm working on being more flexible, which how much I'm working on that, if I'm being completely honest, I could be working harder. Baby steps. I'm just gonna say that, baby steps. But that is something in the long run I wanna work on is being more flexible around specifically eating times, but just in general because I love being a spontaneous person. I would love to just let's say you decide to get another bike one day. If we were to just say, "Hey, let's go take a motorcycle ride to Sanford for the day," or, "Hey, do you wanna go to the beach?" I would love to be that type of person who can just up and go, but right now that's definitely not me. It's like, "Okay, what time let me see when this works in my schedule." I think it's also because I've taken up this hobby and I'm working a full-time job and I'm trying to protect my recovery. All those things at once, it's a lot on one person. I know I put it on myself, but I think that's something that I'm trying to balance right now, along with trying to have some peace of mind in my life. So I want you to be able to not only fit into that, but just I want to make sure that you're not a puzzle piece in my life, that this is something where we are a partnership and I'm able to compromise. That's definitely something that I've been working on because it's been extremely difficult for me.
Yeah, I think we've both been working on it. There's definitely two sides to that story.
For sure. What are some of the most rewarding parts watching me recover?
So I won't talk about numbers as we mentioned before, but definitely seeing a positive. And yeah, again, I don't want to be the one to toot my own horn, but we really worked together for a long time on just pushing. Every meal was sometimes difficult. I constantly got questions of like, I eat too much, or I don't think I could do another bite. And it was just like, just one more bite. And I think over like, I don't know, that one more bite thing is crazy how much that changed stuff. I think that's a really good momentum builder. If someone's going through this, one more bite, just one more. I don't know. I think it goes back to kind of reference bite by bite, like bite by bite. It's really good. Just that it's like taking the extra step in anything in life. Like that one additional step is all the difference. In those moments, it was really rewarding to see her do that and actually do it. And then the next time she did it, it was like, well, I can do 2 bites. And then it was, I can do 3. I finish half my meal. I finish my full meal. So all those things were like super rewarding.
I love that answer. I do preach that a lot. Baby steps. I say that all the time. People ask me, they say, Alex, I went to eat lasagna with my friends, but I brought the lower calorie option for myself and I brought the full option for my friends. I don't know how to switch it in my brain to start eating the full fat option. And I tell them all the time, well, why don't you go and next time you're at your friend's house, just take a bite of the full fat version. That's all you have to take is 1 bite. The next time you go to a potluck, take 2 bites of what everyone else is eating. The next time, why don't you try a quarter and then half, and then eventually you'll get to a full plate. If you're able to work your way up, that kind of takes you out of the all or none mindset saying, I have to eat the whole thing or I don't. It helps build your confidence of, oh, nothing bad happened after that 1 bite. Nothing bad happened after the 2 bites. And then all of a sudden you're eating a full plate and you're like, how did I get here? I think that is really helpful. And then after you take that first bite or the next bite that you're afraid to take, I feel like then you get this kick of like, I can do this. And then you keep going, or at least I did. And that was very helpful. There were times where I'd even sit there for probably like 5 minutes and I'd have 2 bites left in my bowl and I would just sit there staring at it. And after a while, I'd mull up the courage to take 1. And then I only had 1 left. So I would just eat the last bite. Again, it's all about building that momentum. When Austin referenced Bite by Bite, real quick, I'll just throw that in there. My friend Kate owns an account called Bite by Bite Recovery. And yes, you may reference her account because it's amazing. So please go check that out if you have not. Kate is an amazing recovery coach. She just got started and she's looking for clients. So you're more than welcome to reference her
You're welcome, Kate.
podcast. She's a good friend of mine as well. What other questions do I have for you? What made you decide that you wanted to start a relationship with me? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I think about this a lot, that phrase that you hear during wedding vows, in sickness and in health. Austin's gone through hopefully the sickest I will ever be in my life. I really was not in a good place. It was scary. It was very scary at some points. What made you want to jump into our relationship pretty much nosediving in with me being as sick as I was?
Yeah, so I want to speak on the sickness part for just a second. And it was actually a rewarding piece that I wanted to mention as well. But there was some talks we had that were kind of grim. There was like moments of like, actually, I don't even want to do this. She'd just tell me straight up, what am I doing this for? Those really difficult conversations. And there was a point in the recovery where that switched. And it was like, I was like myself, I was yearning for her to make that change because I wanted her to want to be like in this and do this, especially together with her. And that the day that changed, I don't think I remember the exact day, but it was like bad struggle and then maybe a few days and then everything switched and she was really motivated. She was like, I think I could do this now. And that might have been just part of the care team, actually, now that I think about it. It might have been an event, or maybe it was hitting a certain area of your recovery as far as like,
I can actually speak to that. I know when it changed. It changed when I've talked about all the different people I've had on my care team before. One person I had on my care team was an eating disorder therapist, and we did EDMR together, the eye movement desensitization. But when I really started tackling the trauma that I had been through just in the past 5 years alone, that is really when I started seeing a change, because I tell people all the time, it's so true. The eating disorder is a symptom. It's not the cause of what's really going on. I needed to tackle the root cause, not just the eating itself, in order to get better, in order to regain my confidence. And when I started untangling things with my eating disorder therapist, that is when I saw a difference. So I'll get on my soapbox for a second here. It's really important that you get a care team or you get people to help you unravel what's really going on, because it's not just about the food. I know it's scary to dive into those things. The last thing I wanted to do was untangle my trauma from the past 5 years, but it was extremely necessary in order to move forward. So that's when I started, I think, growing.
Okay, understood. And then the part where like what made me want to continue with the relationship, it was like, I like to think, especially being a helper, like I see a lot of good in people. I'd really try my best to see a positive side of them. And you had a lot of positive side. You were going through something really difficult at the time and attention is elsewhere. Even to this day, sometimes your attention is elsewhere, but she has a really good heart. And I saw that from day one. It's hard to miss that. So, I mean, it was an easy decision for me to continue on.
Oh, Thanks, babe.
Yeah. I ended up tooting her horn just like,
I know. Now I'm blushing. I know we already went into advice a little bit. Do you have any more advice for people going through this with their partners? Or if they're thinking about even starting a relationship with someone who is going through this?
I don't. No, just kidding. No, be patient. Patience is like the best thing in life for all occasions, especially this one. There's gonna be times where you think like, oh, especially you think it's easy. It's something you've done for years, like, fork to mouth, fork to mouth, fork to mouth. Like that is something that you don't think about. People with AD, they are thinking all the time, like, I don't want to move this fork. I don't want it to touch my mouth. I don't want to eat this. And like they can't do that autonomous movement a lot of times. So just sitting there being patient and saying like, okay, we're gonna take this bite together. Well, like we mentioned at the beginning of this, it's patience. It takes a lot of patience. Not that I was worn down or anything like that, but it definitely takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, I think sometimes your patience was worn thin, which is completely warranted. For those of you who are struggling with this or struggling with any form of mental health, I would say understand that their patience is going to wear a little thin sometimes, and that's okay because they're just as frustrated with the eating disorder as you are, but it's not directed at you. That's what I want to make very clear. It's not them being mad at you, it's them being mad at the situation and just wanting to pull you out of it. Heck, my mom has yelled in my face before, why can't you just eat this? My dad has said, why can't you just eat a burger? That old school way of thinking. He laughs because my dad has said some wild sorry, Billy boy. Point being, the people around you just really want what's best for you at the end of the day. If they're showing any sign of frustration, it's just because they want you to get there. And that's not a reason for you to shy away from trying again the next time. It's just giving them some time to breathe and then you both dive back in together.
Agreed. Yeah, the ED is not you and vice versa. The ED is a separate thing.
100%.
So the faster you can see the difference is the better off you'll be as a partner.
Now we're going to get into some listener questions. You all had a lot for us, and I think we have time to get through all of them, but we shall see. Alex and Austin, what is your favorite food for date night?
What if we say two different things?
You want to say it together?
We can say it together, but what if we say two different things? We have to say it at the same time.
Yeah.
If we're wrong, then we're cutting it right here. The episode's over.
Then the episode's over. All right, deal.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Sushi.
Sushi.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was easy.
Listen,
What else
we
were
all
you
knew
going to
that wasn't-
say?
Nothing. There's no other answer.
Oh. I was going to say pizza. No, he loves sushi, and I feel like I could eat sushi nearly every day, too. We both love sushi. That's all we have to say about that.
Yeah, sushi all day.
Sushi.
It's just so well rounded. You get a little of everything in there.
It's so refreshing.
It's so refreshing.
That's Austin's buzzword. He loves any food that's refreshing.
They have this grilled chicken pasta at Publix. Man, it's so good, so refreshing. It's just so fresh.
That is very good, too. Alex and Austin, how did you navigate having a talk about the eating disorder? Worried about future partners? Kisses.
Kisses.
That's what they said. They said kisses. As we mentioned before, we had no choice but to talk about it in our situation because I was going away for 10 days to possibly 6 months and we were FaceTiming. And where was I? I didn't want to start off a relationship on a dishonest foot. We were forced into it. I would say for any couple who is not in that situation, it's definitely a hard conversation to broach, but I would look at it from this perspective, and this might not be what you want to hear, but if this person is going to be your life-term partner and you are going to eventually say those vows, if marriage is an institution that you believe in sickness or in wellness, it's important to have this conversation now because even after you're recovered from an eating disorder, it's always going to linger there in the back. It could come back eventually. I hope it doesn't for me. I don't know that for sure. I want to know that my future partner is equipped to go through that with me. And if they're not, unfortunately, they might not be the one for me because I need someone who's going to be there with me in this. And I need someone who's going to understand that it's just like any other chronic illness that you're going through. It's just like someone who, I'm not going to say someone who's terminally ill, but I mean, it is a very serious disease that we have. And I think that an understanding partner is completely necessary in order for you to live your life without fear of being judged, without fear of not being loved to your fullest. That's all I want in life. And that's what I found through Austin is just someone who loves me for me. Think about that as you're going into the conversation of just, I know it's scary. You don't know what's going to happen, but whatever happens, I hate saying this, but it might be for the best because it just leads you to the person you're meant to be with.
I will say, I think you should understand the conversation might not go well.
Mm-hmm.
Period. This is from their point of view as a partner in this. Not that I don't think it went this way for us, but I could see how someone would kind of be freaked out initially. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for me? Like, is that something I really want? But realistically, you have to be patient with them too and understand that it's something they have to think about as well. Don't immediately write them off because their initial reaction wasn't in your favor.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. That was a good one. Alex and Austin, did the eating disorder interfere with your relationship in the beginning? Yes, obviously it dug a wedge in a lot of things we were trying to do. Even eating out, we weren't able to do for a very long time. I remember we had a conversation when I was able to start eating out again, but I was still struggling with timing of meals. Austin would say a lot of times he would just want to come and surprise me and say, "We're going out to dinner tonight," and make us a reservation somewhere fancy. He likes doing things like that. That's one of his love languages, and I love getting surprises. Don't get me wrong. But I wasn't at the point early in recovery where I could be surprised because my eating schedule was so rigid and it needed to be rigid in order for me to gain weight. I feel like little things like that, it did add up to make a big impact on our relationship, but not to the point of us not wanting to see it through. Obviously, we're still here today. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I don't think so. It did remind me of something I thought of the other day. Before we even were like romantically involved, I would like give you cookies and stuff at work. I had no idea about the ED stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you started it, but there was days you'd ask me if I ate and I'd start asking you the same thing, not realizing at all that there was an ED anything. And I just think back on that sometimes and I'm like, it's very interesting. I don't know if I was like helping in that situation, especially by giving you cookies or what that was actually like for you.
This is funny that we're talking about this now. I don't think we ever talked about this before, which
Wow.
I might need to cut this because I don't know if that's too purple. But the food that he would give me were maybe one of the things that I would eat that day, but I wouldn't eat a whole lot else otherwise during the day. That definitely, it helped. It made me feel guilty for not eating, but I think I needed that push also because it reminded me, oh, I do need to eat today at some point.
Yeah, I didn't say that for any reason too. I think you said it to me one day because I don't know. I feel like I said out loud like, oh, I really need to eat lunch, and it was probably late because we sat in cubicles right next to each other for a long time. And I think she said like, hey, did you eat anything since you're hungry? And I was like, I don't know what to eat. And that's when that conversation started happening.
That's the interesting thing with people with eating disorders. We get so scared that other people around us are not feeling their bodies, even though we're not feeling our bodies. We hear it all the time. People with eating disorders, they'll cook for other people, they'll bake for other people. They want to make sure other people are fed and don't go through the same process that they're going through, but then they can't seem to pull themselves out of it. And I think that's what was going on with you and I in that early stage.
Man, you don't cook for me.
I would happily. I have always offered.
She has.
Alex and Austin, can you give tips on being too much as a partner? I mean, overbearing or so.
No such thing as too much.
No such thing as too much. The right person will not think that you are too much. I want to expand upon that, but I don't really know how to. I just think that if you find the right person, they're going to love you for all your kinky craziness.
Kinky. You mean quirky?
Quirky, no, I mean kinky.
Yeah, well, you can mean both. That's fine. Yeah.
They're going to love you at your worst and they're going to love you at your best. They might get frustrated at you at your worst, but that's just being human, right? Don't ever think you're too much. The right person's going to be able to go through that with you. Even if you don't believe that now, it just takes finding the right person for you to believe that. Heck, you think I ever thought that I would find someone who'd be willing to go through any of this with me? Heck no. I thought Austin was going to run for the hills after I told him all this. I was like, well, that was fun. 2 dates. See ya. Never in a million years would I think that we'd be sitting on a couch here in a studio that he built me, doing a podcast with the tech equipment that he set up.
Wow, man, I feel great about myself right now.
I know. I brought him on today to just give him a confidence boost, But I'm serious. I think a lot of the times when we have something going on, we don't realize that other people have their shit too. I love you. You're not perfect. You have shit. I'm not going to air your dirty laundry, but you have going on too. Everyone does. I think you just got to find people where you're willing to mold your shit with their shit and you all shit happily along. I don't know. You get my point.
So 2 toilets in 1 bathroom?
2 toilets in 1
Hell yeah.
bathroom. 2 people, 1 toilet. Okay, this is good.
You went there. I didn't go there.
No, but I'm just saying people aren't perfect and you got to find the people that you're willing to work with.
I agree. Yeah, too much. That whole concept is really dangerous for people, especially if you're feeling insecure about your relationship. The too much conversation is not at all healthy. It's really not a thing. It doesn't exist with the right person.
If you feel like too much, just go watch Love is Blind, and then you will no longer feel like
That's
too
so
much.
true. Oh, Love is Blind should sponsor you.
They should. Love is Blind. I was about to say you should put me on the show, but you can't because you should put us both on the show, and then we'll just pretend we don't know each other, and then we'll give you the best wedding ever
And free.
and free. All right, moving on. That was actually our last listener question. We went through that pretty well. I think we're gonna keep this under 2 hours.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, I think we
I'm
are.
surprised. I said 30 minutes like an idiot.
He did say 30 minutes, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna be going back and forth talking about two toilets."
so much more to talk about.
Is there? Well, it's a good one. I didn't open up the floor for you. Did you have any questions for me? Is there anything else you want to speak on?
I just think that, I don't know, our story is so extravagant. We have so much to talk about, especially with just ED. Not even like our really like romantic story, but just a lot of, we've been through a lot. I mean, even all the way down to we always go on like a birthday vacation. The first one we went on, that was the first time I actually was like, as a partner, I was scared because
That was a bad
it was
trip.
rough.
It wasn't a bad trip. That was hard for me.
It was hard.
It was our first trip that we had taken together, leisure trip, while I was very early on in recovery and still trying to
Your lowest?
recover
Yeah.
at my lowest. And I should not have been doing leisure trips at that time, but I just love traveling so much. And I've always liked taking trips for my birthday that I decided to surprise Austin with a trip. We went on it and we had a good time, but I came back and I had just lost even more weight, and it just wasn't smart of me to go on a trip at that point. It was scary when I got back. It was very scary, which is why I say to people, you have to know that you might have to be on the couch for a while and be at home, as boring as that is, but you just might have to be completely sedentary and just work on eating all day, every day for a while. I know it's terrible, but now we're able to take trips. It's no issue whatsoever. We have a surprise fun trip coming up for my birthday, which I'm excited to share on later. We're able to do stuff like that now because I am recovered.
She's the planner, so I don't have to plan anything.
I am a planner. I will create a whole itinerary, but I don't do my trip itineraries by the minute, I will say. I don't. I just put like a couple things during the day I want to do that we might need to make reservations for, because Exhibit A, when we went to Colorado, I wanted to go tubing and we didn't make reservations for that, so we didn't get to go tubing, which I was disappointed for. We'll get to go again. But things like that, I like to make a little plan. And then Austin, he's so chill. He just goes along with the flow. One thing I appreciate about you though is you're chill, but you're not so chill to where you won't give me your opinion. I don't think I could date someone who's so chill they couldn't give me their opinion. I'll ask him what he wants to do, but then I'll just figure out kind of how it works in our trip schedule. But it's a compromise, I feel like.
I've never had an issue with that.
Yeah, I love traveling with. You're so easy to travel with.
Yeah, I'm the person that just pushes her through the airport.
He does. You ever see those? Yeah, those videos where the person's just like, "Ah, la, 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 la," and then the other person's like, okay, the exits are over there. 3 exits are. That's you.
Yeah, my initial career, just growing up, has always been very heavy travel focused. So an airport for me is like second nature.
When I'm in an airport alone, it's the same thing. But when I'm with him, I just feel so safe that I'm just like, he's just leading the blind over here. Zero attention whatsoever. But that's how safe I feel with you. And I feel like I tell you that all the time. I feel so safe to the point where I would trust you with my life and you would make sure I wouldn't get hit by traffic. So it works out.
That's a lot of power.
Use it responsibly, sir. I don't like that answer. A lot of power, whatever. Anything else for the people?
No, I don't think so. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I always have fun with you.
That was fun.
If you loved having Austin on today, let us know. Go toot his horn in the comments, and maybe I'll have him back on if he gets enough likes,
Ouch.
I'll have him on regardless again, I'm
Only
sure.
if he gets enough likes.
Only if he gets enough likes.
It's always
for
about the
me.
liking and the sharing and the commenting.
So on that note, go like, share, and comment. No, but we really do appreciate having you here. And if you have any stories for us or any questions that you have on how to navigate a relationship with this sort of thing, we aren't marriage counselors or anything or couples counselors, but we're more than happy to offer any advice that we do have. I think that's all we have for you guys. And I'm going to go see if my Uber Eats order is here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to lead us out if you want.
Yeah, lead us out. Take it away. I'm tired.
All right. Peanut butter before jelly in your sandwiches. Be well and Bon Apple tea.
Peanut butter before jelly. Yeah, actually, I'll agree with that. Peanut butter before jelly in your sandwich.
Don't ever stick your jelly knife in your peanut butter.
I do that.
That's terrible.
I do that.
That's why we have different peanut butters.
It is why we have different peanut butters. On that note, be well, everyone. Bye. Good job, babe.